bacon.
This is Sizzle Lean, powered by Fit to be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Network Studios here in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, here in the United States of America. You can find this program on deependbroadcasting.com and subscribe to this network's YouTube channel, Deep End Broadcasting. Do you want to be part of the 60-day transformation? Then contact Sizzle across any of her social media platforms at Fit to be Trained. That is for the 60-day transformation. Now here is your host of Sizzle Lean, Karen Doherty.
I love how you say my name different every week because it really is different. And you always put that cheering on. It's so fantastic. And I love it at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm so much more chipper. It's so funny how 6 p.m. versus 2 p.m. Karen is very, very different. I'm a different person now. So I will try and zip it up because I do have a guest on again, and I'm really thrilled to have my friend Leeor Kelly on. And let me explain a little bit about her. I know, yay! I know, I just don't tire of it. It took me a while because Steve's like, Karen, you can talk during that. I was like, thank God, because it started to get awkward after a while. I was like, okay. So I want to introduce my friend Leeor, and she's a colleague in the business, I might add. But we met. We both were in Pilates Reformer training in Richmond, and it was with Stott, which is Stott Marathu. I don't know how most people know of that, but it's a pretty influential school. It's very well respected, and it was very difficult.
Yes.
And I used to always tell my son when he would go to school or to go somewhere new, I was like, you only need one person. You're not there to make friends. You're there to learn, and you only need one person and to fool around with, have fun, get through the day. And Leeor Kelly was my person because I was like, holy crap, this stuff is so hard. And I knew a lot already. And it was very serious. Remember how serious it was, Leeor?
It was so.
There wasn't a lot of laughter.
No. And sorry, it cut out for a second. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, now I can.
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it cut out for a second. Yeah, it was intimidating as hell. I mean, our instructors were no joke. And like you, Karen, I came in with previous knowledge. I had already been teaching Reformer Pilates. This was just like to level up my certification. And I got my ass handed to me. I was like, oh, this is a whole new level. And very much like
remember, it was like a punch in the face. And I remember looking at you like, what the like what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was scary. But in the best way. And you're absolutely right. Like it's a reminder too that like female friendships for me are like everything, like every source of support. And you were just so fucking funny. Am I allowed to curse? You were just so funny.
Yes.
So genuine, so warm and safe that I was like, okay, like she's doing it. I'm doing it. We can do this.
Absolutely right. And I always say to Ian, you need one person. That's it. Like I only needed you, and I knew I was gonna be okay because it was scary. And I like how you said that. Like you seemed safe. That's so true.
Now, how many people were in this class?
10.
Oh, okay.
Small.
15.
Yeah. It was smaller than 15. I would say it was 10, but it was like every other weekend or something. And different weekends, certain people would come to different sessions. So it wasn't always the same people, but some of the instructors were great. Some of the instructors were just definitely, I got like a judgmental vibe a little bit. Like I just came from a different world and a much more contemporary approach to Pilates. And so, you know, coming in with all this experience and then kind of being told that everything I was doing was wrong. Just having to unlearn all of that.
I don't remember that, but yeah, like I know we felt that way because I too, like I came in from Matt, so it was my first time with Reformer, and yeah, like if you were trained in, I'm so glad that you brought that up, that judgmental vibe, because I need people to know that Pilates can give that off in general. You know, it's an intimidating, and I want ladies to know, because so many women, and especially like other people that are in fitness and athletics in the gym, they'll say to me, they're like, oh, Pilates, God, I'm intimidated by that, you know, and they're already badasses and they're like, oh, I'm glad you're teaching, you know, like,
yeah.
It's, and I want ladies to know you don't have to be intimidated by it anymore. At least I think it became that way because it was, the ballet world was so involved in Pilates, and the ballet world can be intimidating. They're great athletes, right? That are trained. They don't get to laugh and have a good time. I always joke with them. I'm like, I'm allowed to grunt. You're not allowed to even make a noise.
You're supposed to make this look easy.
Yeah, they have to make everything look easy and you know, no, nothing hurt. They're dying inside, but don't show it. And so I think it goes off. And I know when I'm around dancers, and I always call them athletes, I can see them shine. Like they like that, and they deserve it because they're the best athletes ever, right? If you think about it, like amazing. And so I think that's why it can be taken almost too seriously, because that's what I felt, Leeor. I was like, oh my God, this is like so serious. Like we're not going to be able to have fun at all.
Yeah.
Except on our breaks.
Yeah. I would always try to be like, so this is your medieval torture device, just to immediately like try to break the ice with newer clients, just to show them that I'm acknowledging, I know that this can feel really intimidating and I'm here with you. You're going to be okay.
Right. And I'm here to joke around about it. Like, I don't want you to be, and we're going to have fun. And it is, because it is the whole thing. I mean, let's face it. Joseph Pilates was intimidating, I bet. You know, like I would do anything to meet him, and I'd be cool. I'd be cool with it. I'd be intimidated a bit, but I'd get through it because I have so many things I want to ask him, you know?
So these guys, I mean, ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
they were like super, obviously, yes, every instructor, I guess, is serious, but they had like maybe like a little bit of drill sergeantness to them. Is that what y'all are trying to say here?
A graceful drill sergeant. Okay. Like you wouldn't say drill sergeant because it's just a world that's full of grace and very serious. A lot of physical therapists who are very, very smart, who are my idols, you know, and dancers. Both of them, I kind of, you know, I love being around both of them. They demand a lot of respect and they deserve it. And I think because Pilates was kind of handed over to the dancers with their history, I won't even get into that, but Ramona was a dancer and she kind of inherited the business. And I think that's where the serious air came in. And it is serious stuff. Like you have to kind of really put your mind into it when you're doing it. And even somebody who's silly like me, for the most part, when I'm doing Pilates, I am kind of, you have to think about your breath. When I'm teaching Pilates, I try and joke around in the interim, but you have to think about so much when you're doing it, like controlling your pelvic floor and your breath. But Steve, so again, as intimidating as that might sound, there's a learning curve because it's a language too, but anybody can do it. I promise. It takes like 3 times where you're like, WTF?
Yeah.
Like 3 times. And anybody can get through that. Like I always tease people and like, come to my class 3 times. because you get one time where you're going to be off maybe, or for sure I go off. Sometimes I'll teach and I'll be like, who am I? I'm stuttering, so I might have a bad night. But if she comes to class, or he, because I got another guy today. I'm so pleased for Reformer.
Awesome.
I know, I'm thrilled to pieces. But anyway, because guys are starting to know more about it. But if I get them to give me then they're like, I hate this. I'm like, okay, cool, bye. But you know what? I can't even remember anybody saying that. It's like you get kind of hooked. It's like CrossFit, Steve. Like you definitely could do it. It would be 3. And what's nice is it's laying down. And obviously I can't talk about my clients or say their names or anything, but the guy that I got today was, he was a Marine in the past, and older gentleman, like maybe even 70s, late 70s, and has some injury from his lifestyle. I believe he was a police officer, so like a service person. And I wanted that job. I was like, oh my God, I want this job. I know I can help him, because Pilates can really help people with injury, Steve. Like, they can help. Like, we're not physical therapists, but we get to work with physical therapists a lot. And then I always have them on speed dial. And if I can't help somebody, that's the next step. And then I usually get them back, like I'll send them to physical therapy and then they come back, because it's kind of an interim. It's great for an injury. It's great for somebody with elderly. I'm getting with elderly, but somebody who's elderly, like you can put your parents on there. You can put your teenagers on. Like, it's just a safe form of exercise. But I actually, Leeor, I'm talking too much. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Here. And I heard something go in my ear. Are we live?
Oh no, that was the iCloud. That was just a Chrome update.
Oh, cool. I heard that. I heard a Chrome update. I was like,
you know how like the little thing slides onto your computer and says,
"Yeah,
I can do this," or Happy Tuesday. Yeah. It says 78 degrees. One of the little blurbs things.
But I've got to get off this, because I don't want to talk about Pilates. I like talking about Pilates with you, but I also what I want to talk about is we did go back to the Richmond grind. I'm looking at my notes. And you were teaching Pilates like already, both of us. We went over that. But what I want to get into is we graduated school. We were already in Pilates and Reformer and in our fitness businesses. And I obviously followed you. And I saw that you really started to get into nutrition. And you really started to focus in, and I'm really interested in that. I'm interested in hearing about your business, because I want you to be able to talk about your business here online. Sure. And I also want, to maybe you can reach anybody that's struggling with nutrition, and you specialize in fat loss too. So tell me, I'm going to shut up, and I want you to tell me about your business.
Yeah, well, I taught Pilates for 10 years, which is crazy and shows my age. And I was the master trainer for a prominent studio in the DC area. So I was also in charge of training any instructor. Like, we had an in-house training program, and I was in charge of training all the instructors. And it was awesome. And it was an amazing experience. I owe that experience, like, the confidence in the person that I am today, for sure. That shaped me. And so, in the classroom, I was lauded as this like highly respected Pilates instructor who like knows her shit, who's confident. And internally, I still very much struggled with like my own body image. And it comes like, I can give you the whole story of like, it started when I was 9 years old, or like, but just, I had a very complicated relationship with food and with body image for most of my life. And, becoming a Pilates instructor, I think, was partly my way of trying to find the antidote to that. Like, oh, well, if I'm a fit Pilates instructor, then I will finally feel fit in my own body. And yet I still felt a little bit like an imposter, because despite teaching 20 Pilates classes a week, going to the gym 5 days a week on top of that, and trying to eat like next to nothing, I was slowly hurting myself and just feeling like I was stuck in this broken body that wasn't working with me. And just, I remember like I had like a breakdown to my boyfriend at the time, now husband, who you've met, where I was like, I just want to be able to like eat the burger and look the way that I want to look. And like, I just really struggled with that. And with Pilates too, I had a lot of clients coming in asking me for advice about how they can, build a 6-pack or like lose some of the baby weight or whatever. And I felt like there's this missing piece. And how do I figure it out? So the missing piece was a lot of things, but the start of it was nutrition. And I got to a point where like I was never like diagnosed with an eating disorder, but I had definitely disordered eating, disordered thoughts, body dysmorphia. And I remember, this is before I became a mom, but I remember just having this like come to moment where I was like shoveling ice cream down my throat because I was like, you were bad today, and like we're just going to eat and you can't have this ice cream ever again. It was just like a really dark, sad play. I'm laughing because like it sounds ridiculous. It's like a girl on her kitchen
It's
floor.
not though. It's so common, and it
this is not the first time we've had this discussion with our guests on the show here and stuff.
Yeah,
every other week.
I think it's such a common experience for especially women, and I just remember
guys
thinking,
too, trust me.
Guys too, for sure.
I like hearing that the guys get it too.
I've spoken to some men too, and like some men have been like, I wish you worked with men, because like, and I'm just
I like the word imposter, because you need, like, when your body changes and you're not used to it, you're like, man, this is not me, I feel like I'm somewhat different in a way, and I felt you're guarding all kinds of extra attention to people that are noticing, so it's almost like now I got to uphold the standard. And
totally.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah, and I was going about it in a really unhealthy way. So I was like, I need to fit into this like fit Pilates mold, and so like let me starve myself and work my ass off 24/7 to get there. And still, despite all of my effort, my body wasn't responding. So I was like, what's wrong with me? And so that was when I decided to work with a nutrition coach to like actually figure it out. And she completely changed my life. I mean, that sounds over dramatic, but like she had completely sent me on this nutrition journey. And we basically went through like a metabolic restoration phase. We also just worked on my mindset around it. I went through a whole phase of just like eating food again, like having a Pop-Tart and not like being sad about it, and bagels and like all these things, and just focusing more on building muscle, less on losing fat per se. And it completely healed my relationship with food, completely revolutionized the way that I approached my health and my diet and exercise. Like to hear an answer of like, you don't have to do more, you just have to be strategic, felt like such relief to me. And after working with her, I was like, I want to shout from the rooftops that more women need to know this. Like more women need to not be so afraid of carbs, need to not be so afraid of eating, of lifting more than a 5-pound dumbbell. And so I felt so determined to be like the voice to let everybody know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the start of it all.
Because that's how I was about Pilates. When I went to Pilates to help my back, I was so scared. I was only like 32 and I was like, oh my God. And yeah, the same thing. I went to Pilates at Reformer and it fixed me. And that's why I started on my journey too. Because so a lot of times it is something that's life-changing for us that we're like, oh my God, I got to share this. I got to reach. Because you might have a different language. That's why I always say I can never have enough nutrition people on here, because you're going to say something different than somebody else and it's going to hit them.
Yeah.
Different than it might hit somebody else,
100%.
I'm cheating and looking at my notes. How do you approach sustainable change? What does realistic transmit? Oh, okay. This is good. I always like, I tend to go, I want to skip this one. And it's always a good one. Okay. How do you approach sustainable change? So you even talked about mindset and how, you and your coach worked on mindset. What does realistic transformation look like in your philosophy, our philosophy? Because that's why I like following you, because it sounds like we're on the same page. Your philosophy doesn't sound very shaming.
No. Yeah, it's very much about, so how do you approach sustainable change? So I really look at it holistically, and the common misconceptions I see most women have is like, oh, if only I was more disciplined, if I can't keep cookies in my kitchen, otherwise I'll eat them all. Like, these are very common things that I hear often. And I don't even blame the women who believe that or think that about themselves. I used to think that way. And it's also how we've been marketed to, right? Like, even if you watch an advertisement for chocolate, it's like a woman alone, like slowly unwrapping it, like becomes like this weird, like sensual experience of her having the chocolate and like being naughty versus.
I know exactly what commercial you're talking about.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dove. Having the salad and being good. So like we've been marketed to and kind of like brainwashed for so long, attaching our morality to our food choices. So, and then they believe like they just need to do more, they just need to work harder, they just need to eat cleaner. And the reality is, like, we just need to do things one step at a time, slowly at your pace, because you didn't get here in 6 months or in a month or in 2 weeks. Like, this took you your whole life. So we also need to be realistic about like what we can expect and how this is going to change moving forward. For some people, it is really quick, and that's awesome. But for other people, like, there are deep down steeped beliefs about themselves, about food, about their relationship to food that we need to work on. And that's why my clients call me their food therapist, because I'm like,
I love this. In fact, I whipped out my phone because I want to put it in my notes. I like how you said attaching morality to the way we eat food.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
That's exactly right. Like you'll hear, how many times have you heard your girlfriend be like, oh my God, I was so bad today. And it's like, did you rob a bank? Did you murder someone? Okay. So then you weren't bad.
I love
a burger.
See what I mean? Like, and of course it's you, Leeor, but that reached me, that hit me. And that's why you can't talk about this stuff enough, because everybody's got a different style. There's room for all of us. And that is, to me, is genius. Attaching morality to the way we eat food, because I agree with you. Like, I tend to work in, I go into the peer recovery realms where people are trying to quit drinking or stuff like that. And the same thing, like attaching morality to, oh my God, I was so bad, I had a drink today. Like, really? Did you rob a bank? Hopefully you didn't drive. That's the thing I always say. Like, were you home? Were you by yourself? Like, you didn't hurt anybody. I mean, granted, you want to move forward. And I don't mean to make food and alcohol the same, but addiction is addiction. And I'm not saying that eating food is addiction either. I just love how that moral piece, like, we really get into that shame stuff. And
it's really about detaching that self-judgment, and then also just getting really curious. Like, I'm constantly asking my clients question, like, oh, why do you think that? Like, what comes up for you? Where do you think you learned that? Not in a judgy way, but in a truly, like, let's find the deep down root of, like, the foundation of that belief, and show you that it's a house of cards. Like, it's not actually found in truth. And, we do that through discussion, but we also do that through action, like just showing a client, like, oh, okay, so you had a bagel and you dropped a pound this week. Cool. So our bagels, does that mean we have to cut off bagels for the rest of our life? Awesome. You know what I mean?
I know. I think this is great. Favorite tools, tips, and moves. So we're on a really good track here. So, favorite tools, I kind of don't care about moves right now because I'm really hooked into this nutrition part. Favorite tips and tools, like how do you go about making sure, like say you're going through your day, and I did have an ice cream last night. I bought this box of ice creams and I buy them for Ian and me because they're really joyful. They're the ice cream cones and they're covered in chocolate, and I'm really pretty good about eating well, but I also am like you. I don't want any of my ladies giving up stuff right away unless they're specifically, sorry, I studied on that, on fat loss, and then I'm really tracking their food. But if they like to drink a couple glasses of wine at night, I really don't want to give that up. I want them to maybe drink one glass of wine and then we'll move other stuff elsewhere, right? And I feel like you're the same way. Exactly. So I had this ice cream, but I did start to do a little bit of the moral thing, like, well, I just did. So that really hit me. So how do I negate that? Because I'm fine. I'm not overweight right now. I work out all the time. I'm allowed to have an ice cream. But you know what I mean? Like that split moment, because I too, like you, probably had a skewed relationship with food as well, strictly on how we were judged on how we looked.
I know, it's bullshit. Yeah. What I normally say, like if you were my client, it would be different because like if you had a specific fat loss goal, I'd be like, okay, well, first of all, like our bodies aren't calculators, right? Like one decision you make, you don't order a salad and drop 10 pounds. So if you have ice cream one time, you're not going to gain 10 pounds either. So no one decision we make is going to impact our long-term goals. And I say this to my client, if any of my clients listen to this, they're going to laugh because I say this all the time. No decision is a bad decision as long as you're okay with the outcome of that decision.
And what's nice about that is it takes a minute to think about the outcome.
Yeah.
So you're pausing, because I think a lot of decisions we just need to pause.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's literally, I'll just ask my client, like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with having ice cream here and there. If you're feeling bad about it, let's get curious as to why. And then next time, what can we do to potentially not go for the ice cream? Or like, I want you to have the ice cream personally, but like, if you feel bad about it, do we need to just reduce the serving size? Or can we add a fruit to it so you feel like you're also getting some micronutrients with it? Sure. But everybody is so nuanced and so different that it's like so personalized to them. But I would just kind of remind them, like, you're not getting fitter in a vacuum. Like, you're also a human, you're not a robot. And sometimes you're just going to want some ice cream. So you might as well enjoy it. And the attachment and judgment you attach to it is way less healthy than the ice cream itself.
I love that. Yeah. I love that you're willing to go into the mental health and mindset of things. Yeah, I think it's really everything.
I think a good way to do it, honestly, is you have your dry erase board on your refrigerator. You have a column for every day of the week. Yeah, and then you have a spot for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. And plain and simple, if you think you've had a decent, healthy meal and you're on a good path, give yourself a check mark.
Oh.
If you think you've had that ice cream, you give yourself an X. And at the end of the week, if you have 21 check marks and 7 X's, well, that sounds pretty good to me at the end of the day.
I kind of like that, because at first I was like, oh no, it's going to go into shaming because of the X. But no, this is how a male, and I'm not grouping
you
all
see
males.
By the end of the week how good you did.
Yeah, right.
I cheated, but I didn't do too bad.
But I liked how you compared. You're like the male mind versus the female mind. There it is. Like, he's looking at how many checks versus X's and going, looks like a winner to me.
Exactly.
I love that. I love it.
That tells me that you're probably like really visual. So you like to see that progress, right? And it's just very clear in those terms of like, okay, X's versus check marks, got more check marks than X's, so I'm headed in the right direction.
I love it. I love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, the one thing that would kind of keep me going to the class in the gym was every time that they wrote your name on the board, there was your sense of accountability that you actually went, and it meant something to get.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 days of the week, get your name written on the board, and if you did 5 out of 5, then you're pretty sore at the end of that.
Right? Isn't that the truth? 5 out of 5. I haven't done 5 days in the gym in a while because of my job, though. I'd get a lot of exercise doing my work, but I need people to know. Sometimes I'm just standing there too. It's not like I'm exercising the whole time.
Active recovery days,
Yeah.
Get on the reformer for a few minutes. There you go.
I just got new rollers on my reformer, and oh my God, it's like butter. It's like driving around with your car without brake pads was how I feel like my rollers were before. It was even making noise. Like I was so embarrassed. And then I tried to fix it. And you know how you tear your reformer down? You're like, oh my God, I got work tomorrow. I can't have it. I need it back together. And oh my God, I had to order 2 rollers, then 2 more when I realized that they all were bad. But yeah, sorry, I got off on a tangent there. There's my ADD,
it's all good. I do miss
rollers are yummy. Like I have never done that in my career. I've always had the same rollers. That's my first time. I've changed ropes and stuff like that. But getting on to real life balance, like, okay, I've been dealing with this lately is burnout. Oh my God. Now, I don't know if it's just summer and summer brings a lot of stuff with it, a lot more social, maybe. I don't know, because the winter we have the holidays, but for some reason, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting through it, but like I'm just behind on work. Like right now, my stuff is work. Sometimes it's my personal life that's behind, or the house, or whatever, chores, or blah, blah, blah. But right now, I've like got to hunker down, like I'm behind on paperwork and stuff like that. And it makes me overwhelmed, I admit. And sometimes I don't eat enough on days like that, come to think of it.
Yep.
But so what I usually do is start tracking. These are when I have to start tracking. Like I usually get away with not really tracking, but I set timers and like I'll track how much protein I'm getting in to make sure, because if I'm overwhelmed, I'll forget sometimes to drink enough water or eat.
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you have any like little hacks that you figured out, or do you just say no to stuff? Stop bringing stuff.
It's so funny. I was like just talking to my business mentor about this, and I was like, the theme is time boundaries and just like getting better about my boundaries with time. And it's, it comes from a good place. Like I want to help so many people, but sometimes people are just not that serious. And then I end up giving somebody like an hour of my time that they just kind of wanted to like trauma dump on me. And I need to be better about just sticking to my boundaries, also not with other people, but also with myself. So like if I very much approach work the way I approach fitness. So like, even if I don't feel like doing it, I'm still going to do the thing, but just the way that I show up might be a little bit different. So, because the way I see it is like, if I'm not committed or if I don't hold those standards for myself, I'm like, how am I going to? Oh, can you hear me okay?
Leeor.
Yeah.
Just hold on. She's like super fine with everything, so no worries. She must not be in a hurry. I just
Hi.
Oh, yay.
Okay, go.
Okay, go. So you're still balancing your life and any overwhelm. And I know that you've had added lifestyle changes. I know it's hard not to laugh, right? These are the things that you got to laugh about in life.
For sure.
But I really want to hear. So how you have been learning to have boundaries and say no to things.
Yeah, I've been my social life has probably taken like the hardest hit. And as an introvert, I'm okay with that. Like right now, my priorities are like my family and my business. But the burnout still happens. The overwhelm still happens. I just find that the things that work for me, not necessarily to get everything done, because like I've just kind of accepted that there's always going to be, like, as an entrepreneur too, like there's always going to be something that I could be doing. Like I've just kind of had to set boundaries with myself too, to not like work myself to the point of sickness. So I just try to stay grounded in, like, this sounds so woo-woo, but I wake up and meditate like pretty much every morning if my daughter allows me to. Just like a 5-minute guided meditation. And I do try to get outside and go for a walk and like touch grass if I'm feeling it, if I'm feeling the pressure.
Grounding yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally grounding yourself.
You do a guided meditation. Do you use an app or do you use, like, I was using Netflix for a while there. I gotta get back
that's
to
cool. Yeah, I didn't know Netflix offered that. I was doing
They have like a meditation. Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. I was doing Insight Timer for a while, but that's like a yearly subscription. So then I moved to Spotify. Spotify has so many meditations, and a colleague of mine actually sent me one, like a 21-day meditation, and I did the whole thing, and I was like, this was so fun and so like it just felt so good. And you know, if you had talked to me in December or January, I would have been like, no, sorry, don't have time. But it's something I really look forward to.
Oh, I see. I've gotten so much from this podcast. That's why we had to wait that out. We had to, because I could do something like that, because I'm like you said in the winter, like, no, I don't have time for meditation, but I do know the benefits of it. And when I was super stressed, I was using it, and I'm kind of just overwhelmed with just too much on my plate kind of stress. So I can do that. I have Spotify. Hey, this podcast is on Spotify, and I can do a 21 day. Yeah, because 21 days is an end. Like, say I go, well, I hated that, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be like, that was great.
And another simple thing, if you prefer to be more like actively doing something, like that's where people struggle with meditation a lot. It's like, you mean I just sit there? And it's like, it's hard to do. So even just writing down, like, days where I'm feeling really like, like there's just too much, I'll just have a like what's going well for me list. And I just write down like all the things that went well today.
Oh my gosh, that's genius. See, we had to wait that out.
It's so simple and it's so powerful. Like by the end of the list, I'm like, oh wow, okay, I feel better. Like not everything is going to shit.
Yeah, that is, because we do so much in a day. So it's kind of like Steve and his X's and checks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we do so much in a day that, okay, some things there's going to be room for error. You're going to have some X's. Not everything's going to be perfect, right? And I think it's how we react to things too, like how we all stayed calm when there was a lag in the internet. There's no sense in getting upset. And here we are.
It's cool that the internet even exists, that we're able to do this from like miles away, you know?
Oh, Leeor. See why you were my person? See why? I mean, that's okay. This is a fun one too. I didn't want to miss out on this. What's lighting you up these days? Like, what a great question. Future dreams. What's lighting you up these days? Any exciting new projects? I love asking anybody in my business, collaborations or personal goals. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm so ambitious and I constantly bite off more than I can chew. But like right now, it's just the business. Like I am pouring into my clients. I want to bring on more clients. I want to help more women. We're transitioning a little bit, like just the way that I'm branding and marketing. So I'm very excited. Like I'm going to be working with more moms. Not that I don't love my non-moms. I absolutely love them and adore them. And if you're not a mom, but I still speak with you, like speak to you, like we can work. But just I get like so freaking stoked when I think about like the things that I want to roll out. Like my clients have requested like an in-person retreat that we might be doing. I was thinking about, I do monthly challenges for my clients every month. And I was thinking of just like opening it up to people in my community on Instagram and like seeing, you know, who wants to participate, but isn't necessarily interested in investing in coaching, and just like getting takeaways from that. Outside of business, honestly, my daughter is like the light of my world. So I have to include her. She's like the smartest, most confident human I've ever met. And I love that about her.
How old is she now?
She'll be 3.5 in November, and she's got like so much personality and is like not afraid to tell you things. And I learn from her I know that sounds so cheesy and like people say stuff all the time, but like I learn from her all the freaking time. And I hope to have like the confidence that she's just like, world, I'm here. Like she's not afraid.
Yeah.
She's so brave. Like I love that about her.
That's so cool, because I just said to Ian yesterday, and he's 21 now, and I was like, Ian, you have no idea how much I've learned from you. And
so true.
like you learn a lot from your kids, and it's pretty profound, because they usually are pretty deep things or the simplest things. Like I remember he looked at me and he goes, I really don't like it when you ride that thing. And it was my Harley. And I was like, touche, kid. Probably.
Yeah.
So I'm a single mom. I don't think I have any time to die right now. I think he kind of needs me. He's like, I really don't like it when you ride that thing. It's kind of dangerous out there. And he was about, knee high to a grasshopper. I was like, sometimes it takes a 4-year-old. Yeah, it takes a 4-year-old to tell you you're being stupid. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. So I quit riding. And even now I'm really hesitant, even though he's grown. I'm like, he needs me. He's adulting. I can't die out here. So I have it for sale. But I mean, the simplest stuff like that and really profound things he has taught me. Yeah. So I didn't mean to get off on that, but you didn't sound cheesy when you said that about her. I get it. You are learning a lot. And I think God intended that for all of us to learn a lot. And our parents learned a lot from us too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I feel like we covered everything, and I just wanted to make sure that we get the message out there about your business and your IG, because I've been following you for a long time. It's interesting stuff, people. She's a colleague of mine and a friend of mine, but she's a colleague of mine. She knows her stuff, and I've learned so much in this last hour with you. And that's why I like having the guests on, and I am reaching out to women, but we are starting to get into the male population. That'll be coming soon. Yeah. Like I wanted us girls to have a chance, like us girls, ladies first, really wanted to reach out to as many girls. And some of them were strangers. It wasn't necessarily always friends or somebody from my life, but there's a lot of us there. This is like our 32nd podcast. So I've had quite a few guests on here, and I like the nutrition fitness piece because it's never ending and we can always learn something from each and every one of us. Have so much to say, and we're usually into something. Like you're into nutrition. Look how we went off on on Pilates. I'm like that with posture, and it's just cool. I've had some CrossFit girls on here. I have yet to have a yoga girl, believe it or not. I can't believe it. I've invited some, but I'm waiting for responses. So I've had everybody on here that you and I are, weight training, even bodybuilding, CrossFit. I can't believe where are the yogis? We need a yogi in here. Oh my goodness. And I have a 200-hour certification, but no, we need one that,
like someone who like lives the yogi life.
Well, I have an invitation out to a girl, so I'm not going to say anything because I might jinx it or something, but there will be. But I actually was reaching out to her for nutrition, but I got to hit her up again for yoga.
Yeah.
But
why not?
but thank you so much, Leeor, for taking time and spending time with Steve and I. I learned so much. Like I said, I don't mean to repeat myself. And it's always such a pleasure to hang out with you, be with you. And thanks for the deep friendship from school. Oh my God.
Sure.
We got
It's
through
true.
that. I know that was.
But didn't you leave that feeling like you gained a superpower? Like you gained a superpower because you showed yourself you could learn something new, and like you really do look at bodies differently now.
Yeah. And now it's so funny because I remember being in school and being like, I'm never going to be like that. I'm never going to be able to look at a body like the instructors or the head instructors or our mentors were. I was like, because I had a mentor here in Virginia Beach, and she teased me because she was like, I went to the University of Pennsylvania for anatomy and, whatever. And she goes, that test was harder than anything I did in university.
No way.
I was like, I know, right? I was like, that thing makes me want to jump off a bridge. It was so hard. So whenever I meet another stop Pilates trainer, I'm like, how you doing? You made it through.
It's so true. It feels like this weird like hazing phase. And then you get out and you're like, okay. I know.
And now I'm actually, years later, I don't know how long it's been now. Time flies so much, but I can look at bodies. Like you said, you never look at a body the same. I can look at them. They're lying there or standing there, and I can see so much that I wouldn't have been able to prior to that education. So thank you for helping me get through that. And let's keep in touch, friend. Let's keep in touch.
Always. Thanks so much.
Take it easy.
And thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Steve.
Good job, Sizzle.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in there with me. What's going on in the sports world? You're on baseball, I bet now, right? Or football?
Preseason football.
I bet.
5 weeks away.
Wow, are you excited?
Not even. It will be, I think, officially 4 weeks.
Wow, that means fall's coming. Although
4 weeks from tomorrow is the first game.
They start playing football pretty early. I always know it's still warm out.
All right, Sis, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Steve. See you next week.